and we post them on our website afterwards. So you're always welcome to review them and share them with other people in your schools and anywhere else that you'd like to. I'll give us another, it's just 12 exactly. I'll give us another 30 seconds or so, and then I'll turn it over to our presenters today. I'm so happy that we're partnering today with the National Library of Israel. And many of you, I hope, have seen a lot of their postings and new marketing and exciting things that are available to the whole wide world, right from Jerusalem, all the digital resources that are available to the whole world. So Sarah's going to be sharing that with us momentarily. All right, I think, Sarah, I'm going to stop sharing. So before I do, I want to make sure to welcome everybody. This is our monthly Matarot workshops for professional development for professional leaders in Jewish education. And we are thrilled to be convening today on Yom HaZikaron, having an opportunity to commemorate and think together about how to best educate our students in this day and age for these commemorative moments. I am going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Sarah. And you might have noticed that Sarah has asked us in the chat to please share where you work, your role, and the ages you work with. And actually, hello, Lisa. I'm Marian Gribbets from Hebrew College. Nice to see you. Is this your first time joining us at one of these sessions?
Attended one in February.
Great. Well, nice to see you. And where do you work?
At Kesher with Lori.
Oh,
Under Lori.
great.
So
Nice
great.
to see you. Nice to see you. Okay, Sarah, I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you, Marian. And thank you all for being here. It's good to both hear and see where everyone is coming from in the chat. So thanks for adding that info. My name is Sarah. I work for NLI USA, which is the National Library of Israel's US affiliate. And I'm basically here to help our partners with any resources they need from the library. I'm on a more friendly time zone for everyone. And I worked in Jewish education, both formal and informal, for about 10 years. So I know where you are all coming from. And I really want to make your job easier. Not overload you with more information that's hard to use. So that's what I'm doing here today. And I also just want to pause before we start with the resources to just mark that today is Yom HaZikaron. And it's a difficult day for different reasons for everyone. And I appreciate all of you spending time today together and on this important work of how to share the memories that come up on this day with your communities and with your students. I have a lot of information to share with you. And Marian introduced me to Lori, who's here to kind of get us started as someone in the field working with students and teachers, to just give you a taste of what we're going to be looking at together before I get into the nitty-gritty of it. So Lori, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can take a look at this first activity together. And I'm going to work with Marian to, I always press that, to share all the resources that you're going to see today in a follow-up email. And I forgot to go over our agenda together. We're all educators, and just want to give you an idea that we'll be looking at an image with Lori's help in a minute, and then we'll have an opportunity to go into breakout rooms to discuss it. And then I'll kind of go into my overview of what's available to all of you from the library, and everything is for free. And then I'll introduce rather than an image, I'll introduce a text-based resource, and we'll go back into breakout rooms to discuss that and then come back together for some closing discussion. And then at any point, please feel free to unmute and ask a question or make a comment, or put something in the chat. This is really a community effort, and we don't want it to be a frontal presentation. We want it to be a conversation. So please don't hesitate to interject or use the chat feature for that. So Lori, I'm going to turn it over to you now to just introduce this activity and the image that I have on the next slide.
Okay, it's good to see everybody. I do better in workshops when I get a really hands-on kind of experience. So we decided that's what I would do. I pulled an image from the library, from a resource that Sarah had put together about Yom HaZikaron. And we're going to start very simply with an I see, I think, I wonder.
Yeah, I'm going to go back
Anybody
to
want to
that.
give an example of an I see? No, you know what? Let's move on. Let's look at the image.
Okay.
Yeah. No, all right, I'll do it. So in a sort of the lower, just below the center, I see two white squiggly lines with a blue one in the middle. Okay, that's an I see, exactly what my eyes perceive. I think that it's representative of the Israeli flag, maybe how life flows on, I don't know. But I wonder why the author put that there when there's already an Israeli flag in, not the author, the artist. There's already an Israeli flag in the image. Okay. So we're going to go click the link on the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that link in the chat for everyone. It basically takes us to a Padlet where, sorry, just give me a second, where we can all write our See Think Wonders into the Padlet, and I'm gonna reshare the image so that you can see it while you're responding.
And I'm going to urge everyone to click themselves on the Padlet because it'll be easier to see. And if your camera is not on, we're going to be going into breakout rooms shortly. So you might want to be ready to interact with a few colleagues by turning your camera on if you can.
Okay, so we'll take, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes to put up ideas.
So Lori, we're doing this now just by typing, right? We're not
Yeah.
going into, okay, thank you.
I mean, I'm happy if people share things while they're typing, but some people need to think more, so.
Yeah. Did anyone have trouble opening the Padlet?
I am Beth because our computers are really messed up today, so I'm just, I have to do everything really. Like I have to keep clicking on and off Google.
Do you,
so.
do you want to share out loud and I can add it for you?
I'm almost there.
Okay, thanks.
Here we go. What?
We're back up and running.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I see a lot of great responses.
Mhm.
Maybe we can get a few more I wonders.
When this image was created, nice. What it represents. Can we get one more? Be brave, no wrong answers. Nice. I wonder if the stones represent visits to the grave sites of the fallen soldiers and victims of terror. Wonder why there's more focus on past than future. Okay. So this is a good way. I mean, I'm sure many of you have used this protocol before. It's a good way to get students to look at art in a different way, and to separate what they're seeing and what they're thinking, and how they're feeling. And it makes for an easy way to begin a discussion. And people see different things from each other. We've got, I see strength. I wonder what that person is referring to. Fighter jets, stones, walls of Jerusalem, what looks like a flame, airplanes, the squiggly lines that I mentioned, a yellow brick building, 2 Torahs. The quote, yep, about the fall of Saul and Jonathan. Yisker candles, maybe, past and future. Okay, commemorate the soldiers. Are these the walls of the old city? Yeah, that could have gone under, I wonder, as well. Illustration of Israeli might. Okay, image of the flame near Tamid. Great. And these wonders. What is the significance of the wall being there in the artwork? What exactly happened there? Interesting. What the lower border of candles represents. I wonder what this image is. Okay, we've looked at those already. I wonder if the stones, yep. I wonder when this poster was created. Okay, so these are great. So now we're going to go into breakout rooms. And the questions that we're going to have you talk about are, one, how did you feel while studying this poster? And 2, what overall message does the design convey?
So I put those questions in the chat, so you should be able to see them once you go into breakout rooms. And I also included a link to the place on the library site where you can view the image again.
Okay, so I'm going to put people into breakout rooms for about 4 minutes, 5 minutes. You're in groups of 2 or 3, so that should be sufficient to share. And Sarah, I put you in one of the rooms, but of course, feel free to bounce around.
Okay, thank you, Marion.
Okay, here we go. And again, if your video's off, be ready to open and be with your colleagues.
Okay, are there, maybe one or two points that people want to share from their groups? Maybe-
I want to say that whenever I'm in a breakout room, there's never enough time. So if anyone wanted to share something that they didn't get to share, please do.
I was in with Susie and Heidi, and Susie and Heidi really felt that it was very busy, that the picture itself was very busy. I really found it great to use in a classroom so that the kids can really, pick and choose what they see. And at the end, I said I'd really love to see that lesson plan that goes along with it.
And that's on the site. In fact, the couple of questions I pulled from the suggested list of questions with the poster, which was fabulous.
Yes,
can
It's
see-
available.
I'll show you all that in a minute. Yeah. Lori, go ahead.
Lisa, go ahead.
Oh, Lisa.
So I'm organizing exhibits via Maynard, and I have a philosophy with it that a picture is worth 1,000 words. The power of creation is amazing. It starts conversations that otherwise would have been difficult to have. The concept is unity, positivity, diversity, being able to have acts of loving kindness and have a few less acts of anti-Semitism. And with art, I feel like we can start conversations that would be hard to have. Like this is the beginning to a conversation that could go on a lot longer. And so if we can create art that helps all levels of people form an understanding and kind of support each other and be able to work together, I think that that's a major thing. And the artwork was a great way to explore this topic.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so that was just a little taste, one kind of resource on how you might use it.
Thank you so much, Lori. So I'm going to show you how to find that resource on our website. Just going to share my screen again.
As Sarah is sharing all of this with us, I urge you, if you can, to bookmark the links that she'll be giving us, okay? Because that way you'll have them in your own browser and ready access when you are ready to explore more.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I was going to show you this in a minute, but I'm just going to show you right now that I have a Padlet that has all of the links I'm going to look at with you. So I can go ahead. I always have trouble with the chat while I'm sharing, but
Yeah, I'll be watching.
Marion, if you can share, can you share this?
Oh, you want me to share the Padlet and you'll
No,
monitor?
in the chat. Actually, I figured it out. Here,
Okay.
this is so I just shared a link to the Padlet that has where all the links relevant to today live. So all you need is to keep this link that I just sent. And I'm hoping, Marion, maybe we can send a follow-up email.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this will be, be available with the recording too. But just in case it's not, I made this handy alternative URL that you can just type in to your browser. But basically the first resource on this Padlet is the educator's site, like the library's educator's site, which is this. And this is basically a way to not need to get lost in the library's online catalog, because it can be very overwhelming, and it's hard to see the resources without clicking on each one. And even though most of the features are translated into English, some of them aren't, so that's not as helpful for for some of us. So this is kind of a group of curated resources and activities and lesson plans for educators. And you can see it's organized by calendar. There are also like historic people that you can look through, and some other things. There are recorded webinars are here. This link is working slowly because I'm sharing my screen, but I'll show you some more of that. And as you can see, there is a Yom HaZikaron link. And here is our lesson plan about this poster. So if you click on the lesson plan, you can already see a lot of information that we didn't have before, that this poster is from 2008. And it gives a little intro and also suggested activities, suggested discussion questions. Lori and I pulled 2 from these to discuss in the breakout rooms. We just did that. And then some creative activities that you could do. And one of the suggestions is to play a playlist of songs that were sung for this day. I appreciate that comment, Susie. Focusing on small sections. So one of the suggestions is to listen to this playlist with your students. And if you go to the resource that I also put in the Padlet, I've added a link to that playlist here. And then there's also a feature of many of these lesson plans and resources where if you click on the primary source, it takes you to what's called the educators catalog, where many of these resources live, and you can zoom in on the resource. You can learn more about it. So here's the artist, and here's the verse that's translated, and some more information about Yom HaZikaron. And then this For Educators tab is basically what you saw in terms of discussion questions and creative ideas. That's on this like more user-friendly site. So I just want to pause and ask, like, looking at that resource on this site, are there any questions, either burning questions about the poster or about like finding this resource before I move on to some other resources? Okay, well, if you think of anything, just interject or write it in the chat. But as I said, there's a link to recorded webinars on that site. These are some examples of them, and we are always open to doing other professional development like we're doing today, or if you want to get a group of teachers together to do a more specific topic, we're happy to make that happen at the library. The library has just a wealth of resources and so many things that our students can connect to. And we really work to try and make these as accessible as possible. So, and we have 4 different collections. A lot of people don't know that we have an Islam and the Middle East collection, and we have a humanities collection. This photo is actually from an Isaac Newton manuscript. The library has all of his theological papers. many people who do know about the library know about its map collection, which is pretty amazing. And then I just kind of threw in some of my favorite pieces. We have Hannah Senish's archives, and this is where she wrote Ailey down, and she actually, you can see she spelled Leolam wrong because she was learning Hebrew just like our students are. And we even have a activity that kind of takes students through Hannah Senish's archives that I'll show you. The link to it is in the Padlet, and I'll show you where you can find that. We have a lot of Naomi Shemer's pieces. We have photographs, ephemera, all kinds of things. And then we also have adult programs. So if any of you have either you yourself work with adults also, or you have colleagues who work with adults, we have a lot of programming going on in Israel, but also online and geared toward the English speaking community. And a lot of that information is on the NLI USA site, and I'll show you where to find the link to that in a minute. We have a lot of fellowships going on. We have a partnership with PJ Library where some of their graphic artists are going to be doing a seminar at the library in the fall. And really our work is to preserve important pieces, important history, important pieces of culture from the region and also from Judaism. So, and we really work to engage the next generations also. So we have opportunities for students to actually upload things to different digital galleries on the educator site. The library has a new building that's opening in the fall, and I can try and help you get a sneak peek if you're visiting Israel before then, but it's going to have exhibits. It's going to have tours that are specifically geared toward younger groups as well as older groups. It's going to have a dedicated education center, and all of our efforts for the new building we're also trying to translate to the global community. So we have a digital exhibit that people can look at. If you're not in Jerusalem, we have these education workshops and programs going on online so that people can engage with the Educator Center outside of Jerusalem also. So just to orient you a little bit to this Padlet before we do our next activity together. So this is that educator site that I just showed you. And this is a link from within that site to join our WhatsApp group, our listserv, or our Facebook page, and just be a part of the educators community that we have. This is the NLI USA site that I mentioned, where you can see programs that are geared toward adults. So we have a couple of online programs coming up that some of our partners share in their newsletters. Our head of collections, Dr. Raquel Euclides, is visiting New York and DC soon. So these are some of our partner organizations where she's presenting. And you too can have a National Library of Israel talk at your in your community if you're interested. And then this is another resource that we're about to take a closer look at together, and it's the library's blog. And I think it's a great educational resource for older students. It just has really wonderful and timely articles, and they basically pull from relevant primary sources in the library's collections. So this is the most recent blog article that was written for Yom HaZikaron, and we're going to take a look at a closer look at it together. But here you'll see resource collection. So this is that from the educator site, that direct link to the Yom HaZikaron page. I know Marian mentioned Tisha B'Av in her email that went out to everyone. And this is how you can find those resources. But really all of like Memorial and Fast Days have these common educational themes. And we even have a webinar on Memorial and Fast Days that our head of Global Jewish Education, Shuvi Hoffman, facilitated. And you have the link to the recording here. Quickly before I move on to the next activity, I just want to show you some other posters that Lori and I had looked at, deciding, which we were gonna present to the group. This is, I think, a really powerful image. And we don't really have time to look at it together, but I just want to encourage you to look at it. It also has an accompanying lesson plan after the webinar. And this is another poster by the same artist. And to give you an idea, this is the regular library's catalog. So I encourage you to look at that on your own time. But I pulled blog articles that were relevant to the day so that you don't have to search, though there is a search feature on the blog website. So you can kind of peruse those on your own. I wanted to highlight that recently the library has launched a project where they're collecting personal diaries, which I guess is a bit controversial in the sense that, some people who are already gone might not want everyone to be able to see their personal diaries, but we do get a lot of amazing historical information from them. And for example, there's an article about this soldier and his letters to his family while he was serving in Operation Sinai, where he died. So just opportunities to kind of pull those personal stories on days like this. And there's also a collection of photographs that I pulled that are relevant to the day. And these are highlighted resources. At the bottom are other resources that I think would be of interest to you, just so that you have them here and you don't have to sift through the educator site to find them. So I hope that that's pretty clear, just like the division of resources that I've provided here for Yom HaZikaron. And I want to just take a closer look at the most recent blog article for Yom HaZikaron. So I'm going to go back to
Sarah, I can put the link in the chat right now. Okay. Sarah?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to introduce it, and then yeah, if you put the link to this excerpt.
Yep. Yeah. So keep talking. I'll hit
Okay.
when you're ready.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, this is an article that Mia Amran wrote just last week. And she kind of compiled a lot of photographs that we have in the collection of memorial candles lit on Yom HaZikaron, some by, important political figures, some by anonymous people in Israel, and some just of the candles themselves, and kind of explored what the role of fire and light is on a day like this, and also brought in some reflections on other cultures and regions where you'll find the use of lighting candles for memorial purposes. And she pulls this quote from from Proverbs, that the human soul is the candle of God, searching all the inward parts of the belly. So I just thought it was a great opportunity to look together at how you could use an excerpt from one of these articles with your students. And so what I did was pull a passage that Marion's going to share a Google Doc with this passage in the chat so that you can open it on your own. And then I just ask that you in your breakout rooms, have someone volunteer to read the passage. And then there are some suggested discussion questions on that page that Marion is sharing, but really it's there for you to discuss any aspects that come up for you in that breakout room. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment and make sure you get the link before going in the breakout room.
The link to the article, to the whole blog post, Sarah, is that what you meant?
No, but I actually have the link I'm talking about.
Okay, because everyone has
so
the
let me
link to
just
the-
add it here.
Everyone has the link to the
Yeah,
blog.
the full article is in the Padlet, the link
Yeah.
to the full article, but what I'm sending you now is just the excerpt that you'll discuss in breakout rooms with those suggested discussion questions. Are there any questions before we go back into breakout rooms? I know I just talked for a while. Okay, well, if you do have a question, feel free to linger before going into your room.
Okay, so I'm going to set the rooms now for about 6 minutes, so it should give you a little bit more time. And I also want to urge us to think about two things. And I didn't read Sarah's prompts that closely, so maybe I'm reiterating. But one of the reasons I think Sarah chose this excerpt is because although it's pertinent, of course, to today, to Yom HaZikaron, we certainly light memorial candles on many other commemorative days. So if you're feeling like this is too little, too late for today, for Yom HaZikaron, you can certainly sort of talk through what other moments in the curriculum might be appropriate for this kind of work. All right. So I'm just going to make sure. So again, I'm setting the rooms for 6 minutes, and I'm going to send everybody off. Okay.
Thank you, Mary. Hi, everyone. I just want to give a shout out to my breakout room. I really appreciate all of the thoughts that were shared. And I imagine others feel the same, even if you didn't get a chance to acknowledge that with your group. And one of the things that I did want to share is this is a way to highlight one of the rituals that is often done on Yom HaZikaron and other memorial occasions. And that ritual is really a key to how we transmit the significance of days like this to our students. And that webinar I mentioned that you can find on the Padlet. I'll just show you one more time how to find that. Is all about ritual on Memorial and Fast Days. So I do think it is a really helpful way to engage with how to teach these days. So again, that can be found here on the Padlet. This is the top. It's the second section. I would love to hear one or two remarks from those breakout conversations, if anyone's willing to share.
I think I was struck by this last passage that we shared, the warmth of the light, the nature of a light in darkness, bringing joy to us as we remember the people who are being memorialized, and just the power of that, bit of creation. When you're out in the dark, it's in so many different ways that we've used flame. So that certainly lighting the torches for Yom HaAtzmaut could have that at camp for Tisha B'Av. We would light, do a Ktovet Esh that Israelis do for a lot of, youth group occasions, with a particular quote. It's very moving when you're in the darkness or at Havdalah camp and you're in total or near darkness and feel the warmth of a flame, even if it's one candle or one light. And the beauty of recalling the person, it's not just a memorial, isn't just mourning. It's recalling all the wonderful memories of those who are no longer with us.
That's beautiful, Susie. Thank you. Can we have one more comment?
The only thing I'd like to add, I wasn't in one of the breakout rooms, but those of us that were on last month with Amalia Mark from Mayim Chaim, and we talked about spiritual rituals, I think the selection you chose, Sarah, helps us connect that at these times of sadness that may happen ritually and may just arise for us at times like Pesach, when we think about our families long gone or just our heritage in general, that the neshama and the I don't have it in front of me now. Of course, the ruach, the neshama, I don't remember what the third one was, but these are used for us and our nefesh to strengthen ourselves and a way to bring that to the next generations. So I just thought that was a lovely connection between last month and this month for us.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of connections between this day and Pesach, actually, which I never really thought about before diving into some of these resources. So I'm glad you brought that up, Marian. And I just, I'd love to, continue this conversation with all of you, but we are out of time. So I just want to say that I consider this the beginning of a partnership with all of you. And it was really just a peek at what we can offer to educators. I'm sharing the Padlet one more time in the chat. And I'm also sharing my email, and I really hope that all of you reach out. And there are a few ways to stay connected with us on the Padlet, but if you just want to send me an email and say, like, let's stay in touch, I'm happy for that. And I just want to thank you all again so much for your time, and I'll turn it back to Marian to close the session.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And certainly, as Sarah just said, we at Hebrew College see this as the beginning of a deep relationship with the National Library of Israel, and a way for us at Hebrew College to bring the resources and the richness of the entire Jewish world through the digitized library to all of our constituents, whether our graduate students or those of you that participate in our professional development. It's really a pleasure. Sarah and I have worked together on other projects over the years, and I'm so thrilled that she has landed in the land of the National Library of Israel as a way to keep the connections. And clearly, as you can see, the wealth of resources, visual and literary, that are available to all of us is just remarkable. And the way that it's organized on the website and the resources for us as educators is also just remarkable. So I do hope that some of you may have found inspiration personally today on Yom HaZikaron, maybe got sparked with something small that you could add into what you were planning already to do with your students in your community today or tomorrow. And certainly now have at your fingertips, literally, ways to bring these ideas and include them in additional commemorative times on our calendar. We are scheduled for our last workshop of the year on May 23rd. We've actually had some challenges with some cancellation and things like that. So I don't have the title and the subject yet of what we'll be studying together on the 23rd, but please mark your calendars for May 23rd at noon. And I really look forward to wrapping up the year with many of you then and seeing some of our other colleagues as well. So have a very meaningful and commemorative rest of Yom HaZikaron and a celebratory Yom HaAtzmaut. And I think personally, we are at such a interesting time in our history as the Jewish people and with our connection to Israel, that it offers new ways to be thinking and talking with ourselves and with our students. And I wish you all a lot of strength and inspiration to do that in your communities. So enjoy the rest of the day and see you all soon. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.